Hi, this is Shoshana Shia, and in this video I decided I would share some insight that I gained in making a slight change and a tweak in how I did a certain Google search. So before we get into what I discovered, I'll backtrack for a minute or two and explain some background to why I was doing a Google search altogether and why this information could be of benefit um, for anybody who's making the kinds of changes that I am in my work at present. So if you don't know me, my background is in occupational therapy. I have had experience working in a range of different facilities, and I've chosen to move to be using my profession as background information to help me in building a certain service, and also to be combining my creative skills, which is really what I love to do. I love creating in a range of different mediums, and hence some of the topic of today's video. If you're getting to be on the online space, there's a lot of talk about refining your niche, deciding who your buyer persona is going to be. In occupational therapy talk, we speak about making sure that you clarify what your goal is, what your specialty would be, what kind of work you're concentrating on and focusing on. It does help with time management. It does help with marketing yourself and putting the right image out to attract the right kind of viewers or the right kinds of people to read blog posts or to buy your products if you're like me and you're creating products. So one thing I would say that's a little bit different with the online store that I'm creating compared to some of my colleagues who've moved from being practicing occupational therapists to developing stores. Some of those who have a store will be selling products that are of equipment or materials used in occupational therapy by occupational therapists. Could be that we would go on to be recommending them to our clients or selling them to our clients, but essentially they're marketing to the occupational therapists. This would be things like splinting material. It would be evaluations used in occupational therapy, assisted devices, those kinds of things. That's an easy pivot for an occupational therapist to make if they're considering wanting to develop a store. In my case, I love creating, and so I'm creating a range of different products. Some of them are, for some people, they don't quite understand how it has anything to do with occupational therapy, because some of my products are my art, which would be wall art or painting onto cushions and placemats and so on. Really, if you begin to consider the importance of the environment, it might be possible to start to take that a little step further and to acknowledge that the kinds of things you have in your home, whether it's going to be calming, beautiful images that you look at, concentrating on the decor as well as organizing your home and making sure that there's principles in place for safety, that you're preventing any injuries and you're preventing falls. All of these are very important. But what kinds of artwork you have in your home is also going to make a difference. So yes, I do have artwork, and that confuses people. I'm also very much enjoying learning how to put some of my designs onto products. And because there are so many opportunities to print onto t-shirts or mugs, as you'll see a mug behind me, t-shirts, mugs, linen, journals, iPhone cases, all sorts of things that you can print onto these days with designs. So it's brought in another dimension. Aside from my painting and my drawing, I also have hand knitted items, beaded items, sewn items. And for me, it was quite easy to get into having a variety of items in my online store, partly because I enjoy creating in a range of mediums, and partly because in occupational therapy, we use such a range of different activities with our clients. So I'm quite used to doing a combination and not focusing on one product at only. Yes, we will do one product at a time with a client, but one client of ours might be doing pottery, and another one might be doing macrame, and another one might be doing knitting or painting, or maybe they're doing exercise instead, or dance instead, or something, or gardening, or something completely different. So as occupational therapists, we are a little bit of a jack of all trades to an extent, but all of the activities we're involved with have a meaning and a purpose to them. So the change that I made in my search a couple of days ago was partly because I was researching how to improve the about page on my online store, and how I could weave together the fact that I have a range of products. I don't only have t-shirts, and I don't only have items that I've sewn, or only items I painted, or only books that I've written. There is a range. And then I made a change in the search. Instead of looking for how to market myself or how to build a website as an artist with a therapeutic background, what I changed was I looked for how to build a gift store, how to develop a gift store. And this is where the critical change came in, because yes, there are videos out there on how to build an online gift store, or how to build a gift store and then have an online presence as well. And this for me was a critical change in how I can be able to present what it is that I'm doing. Because thinking about what kind of store I wanted to do, I was remembering, I often think about a specific store that I loved to go into when I was a child, and that store was called Serendipity. A beautiful name. It has so many different meanings to it. And what I loved about that store was the variety that one could have a look at items from different types of artists. Some was ceramics, some was macrame, some was greeting cards, there was wall art, there were embroideries. My mother used to sell some of her art through that store, and I really loved it. And so if I was to think about my buyer persona, I would say that it would be somebody who enjoys to browse and to look through a range of different gifts in order to select the perfect gift for whoever they have in mind that they're buying a gift for, or in deciding what kind of art and decor they're wanting in their home. Perhaps they're wanting an item for their child. There's a variety. Sometimes you want an image that's suitable for a child, and sometimes something that's suitable for a living room or an office, or we all have different needs at different times, and sometimes you might just want something for yourself, and that's wonderful too. The dimension, that's an added dimension in my online store that I'm developing, and it's being refined in the background and coming very shortly into my store, is a club that I'm calling it a kindness club, or a creative kindness club, which has an opportunity for you to also be a part of putting together gift packages that go to people in need. My focus is very much in assisting widows and orphans. I have specific reasons as to why this area, this group of assisting people is important to me, and it's an added dimension to my store. I'm not the only artist or the only online store that has a social cause related to it, so it's not a unique first time thing that I'm creating, but it is a dimension, an added level or a tier to my store. And I hope that explaining my store in terms of being a gift shop will help to clarify for anybody who's asking, why do you have so many different things? Well, the one thing I can share that I said to somebody fairly recently, she said to me, why don't you decide whether you're only painting or you're just knitting or just sewing or just whatever type of creating? I said to her, if you're going to a gift store, you're not only going to find mugs, and you'll see a picture coming up now with a range of mugs. They're not mine, but it was a useful image to use. You might find a range of different things, and that's what I love about the type of store that I enjoyed as a child. If you go to a craft market, it's very enjoyable to look at different tables. One person will have jewelry, one person will have I don't know, toys that they've made, one person will have ceramics, and it's nice to browse and see a variety. That's what I enjoy. It's what I enjoy creating, and I hope if you come into my online store that you're going to enjoy the variety as well. So with that, I hope that it gives a little bit of explanation as to my online store. I hope it explains a little bit how I've come to pivot. It could be that you've got a lot of questions. Why, as an occupational therapist, am I switching to more using my art? It's a good question. I have good answers to those, and if you'd like to know more about it, stay tuned for further videos, or let me know what your thoughts are and what your questions are in the comments below. So with that, I wish you a very blessed day, and I look forward to seeing you in another video.